on this thing, guys. What's up, guys? We got a chill stream today, chill struggle stream, and today's topic is: does being a world champion change your life? And pretty interesting conversation going on this last week or so. If you guys saw the thumbnail, had Kynan from Atos on there, and also Guy Mendez. So they both had some interesting pieces of content that came out this week, and so I'm just gonna go over that topic and see what they were saying, and I'm not gonna interject too much. And also, I'm gonna leave the call line open, the Zoom call line open, in case you guys want to disagree with me, and I'll go ahead and tag that a little bit later if you guys want to join that. Let me just grab this link. I'll just tag that in the chat room if anybody wants to disagree with me later. Go ahead and make your piece that way. So yeah, that'll be pinned in the chat room. So yeah, does being world champion change your life? And so we're gonna assume you're talking about black belt world champion, because you know that's probably the big, I don't want to say payday, but that's usually like the big time. And so let me pull up the article first. Got a lot of tabs, guys, so just bear with me. Window, let's see if it'll pop up. Here we go. And so the first article was actually through Bloody Elbow. So if you guys know anything about Bloody Elbow, they're a pretty high level, you know, MMA news outlet. So they post really great stuff. You know, they have good writers and that know their craft really well, know the scene pretty well. Let's see if you guys can see that. I don't know. We'll see. Last time it wasn't popping up. And I think the video wasn't working last week. My bad, guys. You know, struggle stream. Let's see if it pops up for you guys in a little bit. But yeah, Bloody Elbow. Well-known news outlet. I've used them for a few videos as reference for a few interviews and videos as well. So guys, that's a really good news source. And so I don't know if you guys can see it down there. Let me pull it up bigger. Let's see. Boom. So yeah, the Bloody Elbow article, I might go through it a little bit for you guys. But yeah, it was predominantly about Guy Mendez, and I think he made that quote that being a world champ doesn't change your life. I guess financially, that's what they meant to say. Financially. And just to kind of go over it, I think it was actually, maybe came off a podcast or something. And so I'll just kind of read it a little bit. It says, brothers Hoffa and Guy Mendez are two of the most successful lighter weight jiu-jitsu competitors of all time. Hoffa won 6 world titles, two ADCC titles, while Gi won four titles. And in 2012, they opened Art of Jiu-Jitsu, an academy that not only created champions but also revolutionized the way jiu-jitsu academies looked and were marketed. So yeah, back in 2012, I mean, there were academies that looked great and had great facilities, but that was the first like big academy with world champions, with that cool aesthetic. Very artsy, very clean, very white. I think you have to wear white gis there. You can't wear no other color gis there. They're gonna get upset. Um, but yeah, I believe it was Ruka, whoever the owner or founder of Ruka helped them establish that academy. And so they said that the idea was to build a strong foundation in the youth competitors that would ultimately translate to a strong adult team once they reached those ranks. So I mean, they had Tynan. He recently won worlds this past year. I think that's their first athlete that won worlds, strictly under them and not Atos. And then of course Jonathan Alves, who's super good too, and a slew of other people coming up. And then it says the success of the art of jiu-jitsu students on the mat is unmistakable, but Guy Mendez is not content with merely building their physical skills. He wants to provide them with the tools to have successful careers off the mats as well. Many professional jiu-jitsu competitors have been vocal about the financial opportunities in the sport. Are there financial opportunities in this sport? And are thus rethinking their athletic career paths. I can't tell you how many people I've known that were talented that had to, at a certain point, pretty much quit competitive jiu-jitsu to actually have a career, make money, and support their families. And I mean, there's no telling. The world has been around since like '96 or something. Throughout for basically almost 30 years, going on 30 years. There's been so many athletes that just never made a living, and it wasn't until I believe 2019. Yeah, I believe 2019 was the first year they actually paid for the winners of worlds and placers of worlds. And so I'm not gonna criticize any organizations, but I'm just saying that back in the day, you didn't have really that many opportunities to make a living doing jiu-jitsu. You pretty much had to, make a name for yourself competing, hope to God you do well competing, and then try to open up a school once you, win the worlds or something. And then that was pretty much your only way of making a living. And then, some people had associations and stuff, but that's pretty rare for most people to have. Where was I? Rethinking their athletic career paths. Yeah, a lot of people. One person that comes to mind is my friend Chris Moriarty. He's a doctor now. But man, say there was a way for him to make a living when he was in his 20s. He could have been the best American competitor ever. There's people like Hillary Williams and man, a ton of others. AJ Souza. There's a ton of other people. These are just Americans I know. No telling how many Brazilians, just couldn't make it financially, and other people in other countries. A Jiu-Jitsu World Championship alone will currently not change the athlete's life significantly from a financial perspective. I mean, there are some tournaments that pay, $500, $1,000, $10,000. I mean, that sounds like a nice sum of money, but $10,000 doesn't last very long, especially when you haven't been making money, and then like that 10 grand, you just gonna try to catch up on stuff you've been missing out on, like health insurance and your car has been broken down for a few years, gonna finally fix that car, and probably got some injuries you need to have taken care of, and man, that money don't go very fast. It doesn't go very far, is what I'm trying to say. Probably once you probably hit like $50,000, I'm saying, for those tournament wins, those hard tournaments, when they finally make $50,000, then they're like, okay, I actually made some money. But I mean, man, it's very rare to win that much money. and it's hard to win that much money. You literally got to be the best person in the world to be making $50,000 a match, or even have the opportunity to make $50,000. And then that's not even telling all the people that didn't win, didn't place, and then they didn't make any money. So a lot of these tournaments are winner take all, and then the losers don't get anything. Sometimes the guys that play second don't get nothing too. So yeah, I see where they're coming from there. It says Guy Mendez joined some podcasts. VF Comunica podcast by Victor Freitas. Friates. I don't know if I'm saying that right. To discuss the issues and his vision for building athletes. Guy says, what I've always proposed to do, not just help the person to be world champion, because I really think that doesn't change a person's life. Mendez said, we have several examples of people who were world champions and are not doing well. In a lot of other sports, you reach the maximum level and you'll have a great life, but in jiu-jitsu, it's not like that. I was looking at something recently on ESPN, and it was like this new hot shot in hockey, like new rookie in hockey, and that kid walking in, rookie, hadn't played a game yet, was already making $1 million, so, and that's more than probably the best jiu-jitsu guy. He's probably not making $1 million a year. um, So again, jiu-jitsu is, I can't argue that it's not the most spectator friendly. It's too complicated. But even chess is a complicated activity or sport. But they have a lot more sponsors. Nobody wants to sponsor jiu-jitsu, or it just hasn't been marketed the right way or properly. Because when I think of the reach of jiu-jitsu, you have all these Hollywood people, you have all these MMA people, you have all these other people training jiu-jitsu and know what jiu-jitsu is. But nobody's really, I don't think, marketing it very well outside the Gracies. But if you got Gracie in your name, the marketing's already done, right? I had another article. Don't look at that one, guys. And then he says, there's a combination of things that need to be added to the world title for you to leverage your career and opportunities. I've always said that my goal was to guide a person to success and provide the right tools and give the right instructions to the guy, not only to be a champion on the mat, but to create an opportunity to make a living. And then currently, jiu-jitsu world champions tend to either cross over to mixed martial arts, Mackenzie Dern, Mackenzie Dern, Gilbert Burns, Damian Maya, Ronaldo Jacare, Hodger Gracie. That's a few number of people that have crossed over from winning worlds to the big scene of MMA. So MMA, mixed martial arts, are focused on teaching, whether that be through opening a physical academy or through creating instructionals for various online platforms. Sponsorships are another way to create a revenue stream, but jiu-jitsu-based companies often don't have the resources to provide lucrative deals. As the sport continues to grow in 2022 and beyond, coaches like Guy Mendez will play a critical role in the development of the athletes and the sport as a whole. So yeah, sponsorships. I feel like I don't want to say I feel like, but I think that sponsorships have actually gone down, in my opinion. I remember 10 years ago, there were a lot more sponsorships around, and they were paying. I remember getting paid like some money. I think enough to cover the registration for the tournaments, just by wearing a patch for like Budo videos back in the day. And I've kind of seen that disappear. So you're not really seeing as much money that way in the brands. And also, the jiu-jitsu brands, they used to sponsor more like lower belts. But now I feel like once they come up, they're going to sponsor like one or two main people, and then, maybe give a little bit of free gear to other people. But that's it. So I feel like... I don't want to say I feel like, I think that a lot of the sponsorships have dried up over the years. compared to back in the day, bro. Like I used to get paid a lot of money just to place at worlds, or win pans, and I don't see nobody sponsored, man. Like I know like a small pool of people that are sponsored compared to 5-10 years ago. A lot of people were sponsored, so I think that's changed. And yeah, so that was Guy Mendez, his take, and what's really telling is that he's one of the biggest instructors, one of the biggest coaches in the sport. So if he's talking about this, imagine what everybody else that's not winning worlds and has one of the best team in the world is, what they're dealing with, and trying to get sponsorships for their athletes, trying to get, help their athletes get to the stage where they can make, possibly make some money, some life changing money. So, man, it's rough out here, man. If you guys got any opinions, you guys can let me know in the chat room. We got a guy, Haro. I'm saying it wrong. He says there will be lots and lots of money in jiu-jitsu one day. Yeah. I mean, there is money in jiu-jitsu. It's kind of pulled towards the top. I guess that's really anything. Some of these nogi tournaments are paying a lot of money. You guys have. Let's see if I can pull it up from ADCC. But recently in ADCC, they were. I think they just increased the pool of the prize money for the final, the absolute division. Let's see if I can pull it up. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, but I think they increased the pool of money for the for Galvão versus Gordon Ryan. So that's a step in the right direction, but it's still too personalized, because like they could be like, okay, we're gonna get this much money this time, but then like the last ADCC, or other tournaments, like, oh, we're not gonna pay for that tournament. So it's too individualized for the tournaments that they want to sponsor. When you have a few sponsors of a sport, it's not the same as having big sponsorship companies, because only a handful of people are going to get sponsorship by these these individuals, and then the majority of people are still going to be left in the left in the cold out here. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. I'm trying to stay impartial as much as I can, but pulling on my Instagram, guys. Hopefully nothing comes up. I hope nothing comes up on my Instagram, guys. I don't want you guys snooping over here, man. Let's see. Here we go. So this is Mo. If you guys don't know who Mo is, he's how would I describe? He's the main guy behind EDCC. He's the main financial backer behind ADCC. So yeah. Let's make it a little bit bigger for you guys. So like I was saying earlier, we need more structure for the sponsorships, and not just one-off sponsorships or one individual guy sponsoring everything. Because that's not enough, man. And so I'll just read what Mo posted. He says ADCC Super Fight purse is now up to $150,000, which is a lot of money. $100,000 for the winner and $50,000 for the runner-up. We also have 3 unique revenue streams coming for all ADCC competitors. So I wonder what that means. We're gonna look at the text below, but it wasn't very clear. He said no one cares more about athletes more than I do. So it's cool to have one guy putting money up, but that's not like having multiple brands, big brands, like most professional sports have major brand deals for their athletes. And so kind of did a breakdown. So $50,000 coming from ADCC. I guess that's you guys paying for the tickets. $50,000 coming from Mo and Seth and Sean, and then $50,000 from Metaverse. I guess that's another sponsorship. Um, and he says, remember, we will have 3 revenue streams for all ADCC competitors. I'm just getting started, so maybe there will be more money. I do know they paid some money for the trials winners for this past year, which is great. But I always kind of think about the past guys. So the guys in like the last ADCC trials, like you didn't get nothing. You're like slap on the wrist. All right, good job, good work. But I'm happy to see that the future guys are making more money. Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. That's all we can hope for, is that the future guys get taken care of. I mean, it was built on a lot of work to get to that point. Kind of sucks I missed out on that. I'm still hanging on, guys, but yeah, missed out a little bit on that. But I'm again happy to see that something is changing. As far as no gi, yeah, in the gi, a little bit more sparse, but we did have that. It was a Spider Invitational where I think that was probably the biggest purse because they had 2 different weight class. They had 2 different divisions, 2 different weight classes, and they did like a little tournament. And in both weight classes got $100,000. So that was probably the biggest payout from a tournament like that. I believe. I could be wrong. Anybody want to check me on that? Shaharo says, it may not be a great spectator sport, but whoever does it is obsessed with it. It's going to ramp up like anything. Yeah, hopefully. It is ramping up. Again, it just sucks to see so many athletes just didn't make it to this point to where they were making money. I mean, they're doing the same stuff back in the day, a year, 2, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but there just wasn't the resources, unfortunately. And I mean, athletes are still struggling just because you still got to win the trials, you still got to win ADCC, you still got to win the absolute division to actually make this money. So I would like to see some of the other athletes get taken care of. I would like to see the athletes making money to be doing these tournaments. There's been times where I did tournaments, it's been televised and there's a lot of people watching it, but then I didn't make any money. It was just like, oh man, great job. Here's the medal, maybe, if you win. Or, I mean, you shouldn't be competing for money. I would like to say that, but on a professional stage, you should be getting compensated, right? I mean, every other professional athlete is getting compensated. And I feel like if you're out there and people can rip your joints off and, knock you out with takedowns and stuff like that, you should be getting paid at least enough to be able to cover some health insurance for yourself. Because a lot of people out there are fighting without health insurance. They're just hoping to make it. But then in that case, some people decide, hey, I can't. It's not safe for me to keep doing this. I need to get a regular job. I need to do something else. I need something with more stability. So yeah, that was from Mo, and we looked at the bloody elbow post. And now we're gonna look at one more thing, guys. I'm not gonna stay on too long. I just kind of tired, but I don't want to stay on too long. But let me see what I got going on first. We're gonna look at a Jiu-Jitsu Times post. So this one is with Kainan Durante. So Kainan, world champion. I think technically he's still a world champion. I don't know. He did get popped the last time. But anyway, they did a post with Kainan, and he says he may not compete in IBJJF Worlds 2022. Again, 2022 is ADCC. So a lot of times a lot of gi practitioners will forego competing in the World Championship so they can do ADCC. Because it's a little tough to do, 2 major tournaments like that. Yeah, you're definitely going to get beat up doing one or both of those tournaments. So we're just going to see what he says. Actually, I'm just going to stick in the comments. I think that's going to be where the gold is. Yeah, I'm gonna stick in the comments because I think that's where the gold is going to be for you guys. Let's get some more. Where are we, guys? Let's see. Pretty empty tonight. Nobody wants to do Sunday. Yeah, so yeah, let's just look at the comments. It's pretty chill night tonight. Let's just look at the comments for you guys. So I thought it was pretty interesting. So we had one guy. He says, "Good for Kainan. More fighters should do the same." IBJJF, which stands for International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, does not give a f about no one but their wallets. ADCC, EBI, Fight to Win, etc. There are way better events that actually pay fighters. If Seth Daniels gets purple belts paid at Fight to Win, then IBJJF can pay black belt world champions at the minimum. I mean, they do pay the world champions. I don't remember the pricing. It might be like $8,000, $4,000 or something to win a black belt worlds, which is a little bit of money. But I mean, you got to beat the best guys in the world in pretty much every other professional sport. You're making a lot more money to beat the best people in the world. The thing with IBJJF and ADCC and all these other organizations is that they're not a governing body. They're not a what's the word I'm looking for, guys? They're not a I mean, they are governing bodies, but they're not what's the word I'm looking for? Non-profit. They're for profit. They want profit, guys. And so unfortunately, a lot of times profit does not go to the fighters. We see this like in the UFC, where most of the profit does not go to the fighters, and they are the product. So one person agreed 100%. Another person says, "I've made pretty solid bank at Fight to Win. Pretty good for entry-level grapplers at purple." And even at purple belt, they're going to pay you depending on the titles that you've won, your name recognition, so that could mean anything. You could be getting paid like $50 in some of these tournaments. Another guy, he might be making $1,000. So, again, it's not too much, it's not like a stable income. It would be like a nice little bit of change, but like, I can tell you, like, just doing half these tournaments, it takes like $1,000 just to get there. By the time you get your food and travel, hotel, flight, registration, you need another gi, you need 2 gis. All right, man, you're already at a minimum of $1,000 for one little tournament. So it just takes so much resources to get out there, guys. Another guy says, "I thought it was steroids again." I don't know where that came from. I actually went down too far. If you're from Matos, don't try to beat me up, man. Don't try to beat me up. I'll put up a good fight up. Put up a good fight. I'm not saying I'll win, but I'll put up a good fight. Let's see. Another person says, "We all know athletes want to get paid, but also it is just about the pay. Is it just about the pay, or is it a lifestyle? Right now he's young and one of the best in the world. Take advantage of it and get paid. If there is nothing to compete in at the same time as Worlds, why not just compete? Compete because you love it. But if there is an event around Worlds that'll pay, then I probably would compete in that to get paid. But I'm sure IBJJF is paying now for Worlds, not 100%, but I thought they started to pay." Yeah, I mean, you got to realize, guys, that, for these tournaments, all these guys are doing, you're taking so much damage on your body, so they need to get paid because, each tournament could be your last tournament. That's how dangerous that's how dangerous it is. ADCC specifically is dangerous. Like, that could be your last tournament. God forbid, you know. So you need to be getting paid enough to cover health insurance, enough to, uh, man, um, to be able to safely do this sport. Another person says all pro athletes should do it because they love it. The sacrifice they make is not measurable. To win worlds, you have to sacrifice much of your life. Saying no to birthday parties, relationships, etc. These guys pay in a lot of different ways. They need nutrition, certain conditioning, injury rehab coaches. Most of the time, those services are provided by friends and students. Yeah, I can vouch for that. Not a professional. Sometimes the friends, students, and friends are professionals. Environment. If we want people to take jiu-jitsu seriously and mainstream the sport we all love, we need to either transform the IBJF to the top-tier professional tournament or make it amateur level. Right now it's run as an amateur league disguised as our World Series. Someone is getting paid, not the athletes. Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, IBJJF is a for-profit organization, so we don't know what they're making, how much money they're making. I mean, but obviously they went over 20 plus years before they decided to pay their athletes. So, yeah, things are changing slowly. But I think when more people come out like this and start demanding, money, to compete, that's when things will change. And I won't lie, it's kind of hard to see. I did the last ADCC and see people spending all this money to come out there, and then like, man, you're not making any money as an athlete if you don't win. You don't win, you didn't make any money. And maybe you can use the fact that you're doing a tournament as a marketing tool, but I mean, yeah, man, it's still rough, man. It's still rough. Again, someone could be like, hey, just do something else. But if everyone did that, you wouldn't have, you guys wouldn't have all these cool events, and, the level of jiu-jitsu wouldn't be as high as it is. Another guy says he dedicated his life to BJJ. It's time to get paid. Another person says, good to see him. Didn't Gabby Garcia say something similar? If we want to see Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grow, we need to see higher fight purses for the athletes. One of the reasons why orgs like ADCC are outgrowing IBJJF. I mean, if IBJJF, honestly, if they did more professional events, where they paid athletes, they have the resources, they have the staffing, they have everything they need to do it. Heck, even Flow Grappling does their own tournaments, professional tournaments, and they pay more. I've heard that they pay more than IBJF does. So yeah, we don't know where the money's going, guys. So there might be funds out there, but we just don't know where the money's going. It's going to some Swiss bank account somewhere. IBJF, don't come after me. I'm a big fan of you guys. Don't come after me. They're gonna have the referee every time I go compete. Now the referee's gonna be like, take him. All right, I started off with the minus penalty. Like I'm already getting penalized just stepping on the mat. Carlos Gracie Jr. is like, don't let that guy win. They put a target on me. Hey guys, I'm a big fan. I'm just giving a little honest critique. I want you guys to help support the future athletes. Hey, current athletes, support some of us current athletes out here. Another guys. Another person says, where is the money going to come from exactly? Athlete pay has always been based on the revenue that the sport generates, as the sport doesn't really generate any revenue. And, I've heard that for years, but I don't know if I honestly believe that anymore, because I've heard about some of the purses that some of these tournaments are doing, these backdoor deals. And so there's some money somewhere, man. It just ain't going to the fighters. Just like the UFC, Dana White over here flying private jets and spending $100,000 a day gambling, and then the entry level for the UFC fighter is like $12,000. So yeah, hey, something's happening, guys. I know I ain't seen no money. I've been doing a lot of tournaments over the years. Another guy says, appreciate you reaching out, brother. We'll do. I don't know who this guy is. Had a little private conversation here. Here's another guy. He kind of delves into some numbers. He says, but then you take into consideration all the registration fees they collect on top of the 2 million in membership cards. So if you guys don't know, IBJF does membership cards. I believe it's like $35 to renew every year, and so that might be like $2 million just in registration fees, membership card. I don't know what that does. It doesn't really do anything, but that's like $2 million easy. I'm sure if they added like a few dollars to that for athlete payment, black belt athlete payment or something. Hey, yeah. Because man, think about black belts. Like, you could be a professional. Like for me, if I do worlds or anything, pans, I'm paying to register to do these tournaments. So that would be a help. Just taking the registration fee out of the, out of the equation. Maybe have okay, I pay registration fee for the local regional tournaments, Atlanta Opens, Orlando Opens, whatever Opens. But for the higher ranking championships, Pans, Europeans, Worlds, because you already need ranking points as a black belt, just go ahead and waive the registration price for the black belts. If I already did tournaments before and I got my points, I paid money for multiple tournaments in order to get points for this championship. Okay, it would be cool if you just waive the fee for the championship. They do that for previous world champions. They'll, I guess, reimburse them. But every other athlete, man, I don't know how much money I've paid to IBJF, guys. It's probably more money than I have on me now, in my savings account. I'm like, oh, that's where all my savings went. But again, you could be like, hey, don't compete. But then, say I didn't compete, you wouldn't have me doing content. You would have people like me doing content. You wouldn't have people like me putting out techniques and trying to push jiu-jitsu that way. So you can't have it both ways. Yeah, if you push all the content creators and all the instructors out and all the poor athletes, like, you're not gonna have anyone doing jiu-jitsu or really teaching classes. Or let's see. Lotus Vine says, competitive wrestlers don't make much either, at least that I know of. But they do at least have there's a national team. I believe they get some type of stipend. They also get access, say you're on a national team, you're a high level senior wrestler, you're going to get access to so many resources as far as training camps, Olympic training camps. Heck, if you're a good wrestler, you probably got a scholarship to a pretty decent college for your ride. That included room and board. So, monetarily, that's already, possibly $100,000 right there, right? Just that 4-year ride there. But in jiu-jitsu, it's not really the same. And, even wrestling, Flow Wrestling has done more tournaments. I don't remember the names. They've been doing some more tournaments. It's just hard to, compete with the, the collegiate wrestling organization, the collegiate sport of wrestling. So that's a whole different animal, guys, because you have these collegiate athletes that are pretty much pro athletes, but they weren't getting paid. They weren't getting paid, or they didn't even have the possibility of getting paid until recently. So that's a whole different animal, man. Yeah. I want to see athletes get paid. I want to see people get paid for their work, their hard work. It doesn't matter what field it is. Obviously, the more spectators you have, the better. Let me hold off on my thoughts for a little bit longer. I'm trying, guys. So yeah, we're going through the comments. So yeah, we're talking about the IBJF. They have registration fees. So that this guy says some number of $1 million, $2 million from just registration fees. And then he says, if I were a betting man, My money would be on them and on them making at least 4 to 5 million profit. And I understand it's not much when it comes to the number of athletes, though. Yeah, I'm not sure what the athlete number is. If we're talking about, you can look at the athlete list from Adult World's Black Belt. It can't be more than 500 people. It's probably less than that. This last year was probably 2021 was probably less than that competitors at Worlds. Um, Another guy says, I just figured paying the black belts first would be a start. I'm a purple belt and would love to get paid, but don't believe I've earned the right yet. Plenty of comps through that, though, that pay money. There's just not that many gi professional events. So, I mean, of course, it's easy to hype up ADCC. It's the biggest no-gi event. Um, but I could just say IBJF does not do a great job of hyping up Worlds or creating an alternative to, ADCC, but in the gi. They do like a jiu-jitsu league thing, but it's such a small event, It's not, and they do like once a year. It's not like IBJF could do so much, If I was in charge of IBJF, I would get money. I would get sponsorships. I would get brand deals. I would create more opportunities for athletes so they could, spend more time training. That's the key to having better athletes. More exciting fights is give the athletes incentives to fight and ability to fight. I can't fight as hard because hey, I'm like, man, I'm already kind of jacked up. If I hurt my knee, I hurt my ankle, I won't be able to walk. I'm not gonna be able to afford surgery. Another guy says, and probably half of that goes overhead. Yeah, I'm not sure what overhead. We don't know the bills, right? So how many of these athletes are you going to be able to pay with $1 million? Not many. I mean, there's probably a way to use, like, I know in chess they have a ranking. Somehow use the ranking in jiu-jitsu, possibly. Especially at least for black belt competitors or world's competitors. Something like that. There's workarounds, guys. There's solutions. We just don't have the right people in place to figure out these solutions. That's what happens when people are greedy. They're not thinking about the big picture, overall, or they're not in a rush. If they're not in a rush to help the other people as much. This other guy says IBGF made over 2 million with just member cards in 2021. They have enough to at least pay black belt something. Man, we got no money, man. I'm broke too, man. That's how Carlos Gracie talking. I'm broke too, man. I can only afford 2 matches instead of 3, man. Yeah. Timothy Ortel says BJJ ELO. Yeah, exactly. So, I guess well, they already have like a weighted system based off the tournaments. So, Worlds counts for more points than, Atlanta Open. And then somehow do like I don't know, something. There's something to do. They have their little ranking system, I don't know if it works really well, but it's just based off I mean, it's based off how many tournaments you do. They have a ranking system, but maybe something a little bit more in depth, maybe. Because the ranking system is not like, I guess in chess it like determines how how you would do against yourself, like your past self. Like, oh, you could compare yourself now versus yourself last year. IBJF, they just kind of it's a mess and it's disorganized, right? Uh, and another guy says, I think jokingly, he's like, it's not about the purse, it's about the history and honor of saying you're champion. I mean, yeah. To me, I always saw it as, okay, I won Worlds, now I can make some money. I can do some seminars now. I can open up a school now. That's how it used to be back in the day, guys. You had to win Worlds, and okay, now I can open up a school. Now I can make some money. But yeah, even now, if you win Worlds, unless you capitalize on it, like, nobody. I mean, obviously, you probably made a few grand, and then people forget about it the next week unless popular. Is another guy says, is the money has to come from somewhere. As a sport overall, it does not bring enough revenue to pay these athletes the way they think they should be paid, which is, I guess, what's the subsistence? Seraph, we know Seraph, yeah. Like the back in the day, you had the people working on the the fields. So you had the castle, you had the king, queen, the lord, and then you had the seraphs. That's the jiu-jitsu athletes. They're just the seraphs out there just working, hoping to survive winter. Oh, it's cold out here, guys. It's cold. Again, he says the sport does not bring enough revenue to pay the athletes. Again, private organizations, we don't know what they're bringing in, guys. We don't know what Carlos Gracie's been. He might be Scrooge McDucking it out there. Just all that IBF membership money for over 20 years. They should get paid the same as those in NBA. The revenue difference is exponential. You can't pay someone more than you bring in. I say start small. Worlds don't charge the black belt athletes. That's something small. That's one small expense that doesn't take away from the athletes. Because right now in jiu-jitsu, it's just like everything is just like kind of chips away at you, like registration fees. And then travel, you gotta pay the travel. You gotta eat healthy. You got injured chiropractor, physical therapist. You got jacked up. All right, I gotta take a year off. I can't do this anymore. So I've lost count of how many great athletes we've lost in jiu-jitsu just because just was not financially doable. And then I say it's just like those in the WNBA thinking they should get paid in the same as those in the NBA. The revenue difference is exponential. You can't pay someone more than you bring in. I understand that argument. Obviously, you need to have eyeballs. You need to have people buy merchandise. You need to have people, watching the events. I just feel like we have this culture, especially in combat sports, where they just don't pay athletes. Take the UFC. I don't have the exact figures, but I think less than 30% of their revenue goes towards all the athletes, and these guys are killing themselves out there. So same thing in the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I keep hearing people saying there's no money, and then I see ADCCs just raise the amount of money for the absolute winner, the super fight winner, because it used to be $40,000. So and over the course of 2 ADCCs, which is what, 4 years. So for 4 years, 2017 or heck 2019, say 2019 ADCC to this next ADCC, it's already increased by what? It's $150,000 now, so $90,000 more, or more, right? $110,000 plus 40,000, yeah, 150, yeah. So hey, listen, there's money somewhere, huh? Somebody's willing to pay money. And the sport is growing, so there's gonna be more money. But again, that money is at the very tip top. You got to be a Rutulo twin or Gordon Ryan or Craig Jones. Like, if you're like below those guys, you're not making any money. So like 10 people in jiu-jitsu making money in competitive jiu-jitsu. Timothy Ortell says, not to be Buzz Killington, but there's a chance that the athletes will be treated like gymnasts and such. How so? How to change or stop that will be the key. I'm not sure how gymnasts are treated, or like disposable, like they get burned out or something. But even in gymnastics, there's girls like Simone Biles, right? She's gotten really great brand deals. She's obviously really great, probably one of the best gymnasts in the world or ever. So I just would like to see more sponsorships. I think jiu-jitsu as a sport lends itself to being, I think it's a very sponsor friendly sport. And I'm gonna take it back to UFC. Before they went to having that deal with, so it was Venom, and then before it was Reebok. Before Reebok, the fighters used to be able to get their own sponsors, and I'm not sure what the numbers are now, but they were making. I'm sure they were making a lot more money when they had the ability to bring on their sponsors for the events and for their fights than they were afterwards when they were forced to take this kind of cookie cutter deal. But I think jiu-jitsu does lend itself to some marketing. I think it lends itself to specifically the fitness niche. I think it lends itself to the health niche, as far as sponsors in that way. And it's up to these bigger organizations to get those big brand deals. Your Adidas, your Reebok, screw Reebok. Your Nike, your Under Armour, your whatever. So if these guys are looking, these organizations were looking farther ahead, they would try to bring on more of these bigger sponsorships. I mean, and Worlds does have sponsorships. I don't know where the sponsorships money goes towards, but it goes towards something. We just gotta get better used to giving the fighters money. Like they just, the tournaments are just like this. They're like, we can't let any money go. But it's just, I feel like you get this athletes more money, they're gonna be more, more inclined to compete hard. They're gonna go harder in branding themselves, marketing themselves. Maybe less maybe less craziness because they're like, okay, I'm gonna get a sponsor. I don't need to be as wild and say crazy things and be as negative and as polarizing as I was before. Um, Timothy Ortell says in their pay versus the time investment have to get toward the ball sport ideologies. Yeah, like it or not, they work. I guess Simone Biles is making money, but I guess I don't know what everyone else is doing. I would like to see. I was thinking about some alternatives, like how could we add a ball to jiu-jitsu to make it more interesting? So like wrestling with the ball, or it would be like rugby but more grappling focused, something like that. People want to see a ball and they want to see high points. They want to see soccer in America. They're like, I want to see more like basketball, like 100-point score. So we can figure out a new sport that takes your jiu-jitsu skills and add a ball and more points. We could have something rugby. I'm thinking of some type of rugby. But with more grappling focus, takedown. More high amplitude takedowns. That'd be kind of cool. Timothy Ortell says Gordon Ryan may be Wilt Chamberlain. Have to get to Wayne Gretzky, MJ to reach that next level. A good friend of mine said something about this, and specifically said for MMA, and he said that MMA will never have a Michael Jordan because it just doesn't pay enough. It's just not that. I guess there's just not that level of sponsorship. There's not that level of pay to where you can get to that MJ status. And it's hard to get MJ status because that's like a crossover point between like popular culture, sport, athletic achievement, and pop culture. And I probably won't ever see another MJ. And in jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu is even worse than MMA. At least you got some guys make a little bit of money in MMA, but then like jiu-jitsu is way below that. But they're also taking more damage, so their career is going to be shorter than a jiu-jitsu athlete's career. I don't know. I keep hearing people saying there's no money in jiu-jitsu, but then like, I'm not saying I'm a part of backdoor deals, but I am privy to some information to where I'm like, bro, they're making that much money? You guys making some money? First off, I'm like, well, you guys are making money. And then two, I'm like, well, you guys are making that much money? So it's kind of wild out here, man. I don't know where there's money. There's some money somewhere, guys. I haven't seen it. I heard about it, but I haven't seen it. Another guy says it's a sport, compete because you love it, which is fine, okay. But if that sport's being televised and people, that sport's got commercials and There's some money being made somewhere, but you ain't seen nothing, and you're out there getting beat up. Something ain't right. Another guy says, "How can you demand big pay from a sport where the stands are 25% full?" I mean, COVID times, guys, kind of hard to compare, like now versus a year or two ago. Full, and these people basically consist of the participants, their family and teammates. No pay-per-view revenues. Well, I mean, IBJF Worlds is televised through Flow Grappling. Flow Grappling takes in revenue. Hey, I didn't create that. That's who they signed that deal, didn't they? Not once in my life have I heard of non-BJJ people wanting to buy tickets to an event like any other sport. For instance, the stadium is full of fans that aren't on the teams playing. That said, I hope one day grappling becomes one of those sports. The only problem is the layman sports fan is that it looks like paint drying. I will say ADCC, that's probably the first tournament where I was like, I think it's just because of hype, more hype. But that's the first tournament where I just saw people like, they're not going there to compete. They're just like, man, I got my tickets for ADCC, which is pretty cool to hear, Yeah, people were actually, regular people were excited just to go. I mean, I feel like people just like to go to events. I think, whoever's running IBJF, I would have them do a little bit more better branding. In all honesty, it's all the combat sports. International Judo Federation, whatever the wrestling federation is, FILA, all these UFC does market themselves, but everybody else, they don't really, no branding, no marketing, barely any sponsorships. So they got to do a better job, man. Yeah, if I had a kid or someone coming up to me asking, "Hey, should I wrestle and possibly go to college full ride or risk it with jiu-jitsu?" I'd be like, "Hey, man, I probably would do the wrestling route. At least get your education and I think that would be a leg up over just some of these guys competing. And I mean, some of these guys do well, but you don't see the 500 other people that didn't make it." Another guy says, "I don't think they should demand anything crazy, but I would imagine his justification for pay comes from the revenue of the IBJF. They're making plenty off of admission fees." I didn't read the article, but I've always agreed with the sentiment that the adult world black belt medalists should be paid an affordable price from the IBJF. I mean, they just now started paying people. Just now started paying people. Nothing crazy, but at least sign it of respect. Yeah, I would like to see, say you won worlds, maybe do like, bro, $10,000 really not that much money. Maybe somehow have some type of sponsorship deal for these guys. So like for the next year or 2 or 3 years, they're getting paid a stipend per month for the next 3 years from winning worlds, or something like that. Just something, anything. Do a commercial, the commercial where you got to save the pets and it's got the sad music. It's got the sad music and the dog shaking and looking sad. And it's like, it's someone like for $3 a day, for 3 cents a day, you too can sponsor a black belt world champion. Something like that, man. Just put something out there, guys. Do something. Timothy Ortell says, "Yeah, whatever gets more people want to do the sport." That's the thing. I mean, is more people doing the sport the thing, or more people watching the sport and that way buying the merchandise, the branding, etc. Is that what's going to grow the sport? Philly Cheese says, "What's up, Sensei? I did judo in the 3rd grade and technically a yellow belt." All right, man. Actually, I think you lost your yellow belt, man. We take you back to white belt now. I'm almost done, guys. It's a little cold out here. IBJF is rolling into cash. I'm good, bro. Yeah, IBJF got the cash. From what I can see, nobody can agree to anything. Another guy says, so you have to win the absolute world championship every month to make an earning. Yeah, I gotta go beat Buchecha every day, every day to make every month to make an earning. Oh God, that's terrible. I mean, no wonder people go to MMA. They're like, I can make $50,000 for one fight. Okay, versus all right, I gotta fight a whole tournament, 8 matches with killers, and maybe I make $5,000. I'm still taking damage regardless. It's just, do I want the $5,000 or do I want the $50,000? Uh oh. I clicked on something, but I think it said, hopefully it goes back. Let's pray it goes back. Please go back to where. Ah! I think that's a sign we gotta jump off, guys. But just to leave off with that last little bit, it said in this season, 3 teams competed in each prize. So it's barbecue pit masters. The prize is $50,000 for barbecue. There's no money in jiu-jitsu, man. There's nobody who wants to watch jiu-jitsu, man. There's no money. And then over there, you got $50,000 for the barbecue. Hey, yo, I need to come up with a good barbecue sauce. That's what I'm learning. Screw this jiu-jitsu stuff. You guys, hey, type a 1 in the chat room if you want to see me focus on barbecue sauce and some other recipes. I got to make some money too, guys. I can't. I'm out here, got to fight Rotullo twins. Guys, you really want me to see me fight the Rotullo twins and get destroyed out there like that? God. I'd much rather make $50,000 making my barbecue sauce. Alex Southern barbecue sauce. Alex Southern style barbecue sauce. Timothy says 5K wouldn't pay your insurance deductible. Yeah, especially now. You guys, you know how crazy. And I have people in Europe watch this stuff, but in America, $5,000 doesn't even pay your deductible. Yeah. So I got to fight a Rotullo twin, get jacked up. Okay, I didn't make any money. Oh, now I owe $10,000 for this. I got to get a surgery now. Oh, now I can't compete anymore. I can't teach anymore. I'm jacked up. I mean, people doing jiu-jitsu now, especially at a high level, man, they love jiu-jitsu, man. But to their detriment, they love it so much that they forego getting paid, making money for so long that, eventually they reach a point where they're like, man, I can't do this anymore. And that's happened to me for many years where I'm like, man, I can't do this anymore. But somehow I just keep going, man. Keep going. Some crazy guy, man. Keep going. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I couldn't get back to my webpage on Facebook. But if you want to see any of these articles, like I said earlier, it's on Jiu-Jitsu Times with Kainan Durante, multiple-time world champion. And the other one was on Bloody Elbow. They made some great points. I mean, I've seen Jiu-Jitsu grow so much. Like, I never thought I could make a living doing Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, I'm still struggling, but I never thought I could do it professionally. But there are some guys making a living, man. Don't be fooled. There are some people making some money, either through schools or instructionals, or I think I think a small amount of money comes from competing by itself. But I mean, obviously, that'd be awesome to make some money from doing crazy things, competing. But typically, I see the competition as a marketing expense. So hopefully, you go out there and do really well. That makes people want to go to your seminars. That makes people want to buy your instructionals or whatever products you got. So things are changing. It's been a slow process, but I think it's kind of a snowball effect. So there's tournaments out there, Fight to Win. ADCC is doing a great job paying money. Spider Invitational. They were paying $100,000 for a tournament, so that was good too. I would like to see all the fighters make money. So say you do ADCC or whatever tournament, I would like to see everybody getting paid just to be there. You you're in a championship, you're in the biggest event, you get paid just to be there. And then of course you win, you get paid more money. Um, um, I think there's a market out there. I don't have exact numbers, and I can't always disclose things, but people are watching jiu-jitsu. People know about jiu-jitsu. I think it's jiu-jitsu is a great sport for marketing. It's a great sport for brand sponsorships. It's just I think it's got to become more ingrained in our culture to have that kind of thing, to go out and get that kind of thing. Um, yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Things are changing. I think that's it, guys. I'm about to lose I'm all stuffed up now. But I think that's good. If you guys got any questions for me, I got about 5 or 10 more minutes. So just let me know in the chat. Type your question out for me. I'll try to get to it. I'm trying to do my YouTube videos, these live streams, at least once a week. I got to say, man, Instagram Live has been killing it, man. Instagram Live, so much feedback, so many questions. Instagram is a different beast than YouTube, so that does explain a big difference. But yeah, I hope to get more people in this next year on this live stream. So something happens. I mean, I do enjoy kind of doing it, but as anything, you kind of want to see some progress, right? I want to see some progress. I don't know about you guys, but I want to see some progress with the live streams. As far as I know, there's nobody else doing the live streams like I'm doing it. Oh, I can't even see my face. There you go. Like I said, as far as I know, there's nobody else doing live streams weekly with as much. I mean, I kind of screw up half my streams, to be honest. So I can't say the quality is always super great. Sometimes quality's like I'm stuck in I'm frozen on the screen. Audio's jacked up. That does happen. But I think I have good quality streams. I try to bring in my little presentations every now and again. Try to do some cool stuff. Play some cool music. So I hope it's a good time for you guys too. So I'm gonna play some music, guys. Maybe 1 or 2 songs. And if you guys have any questions, I'll try to jump on them. And we'll leave it at that. So I'll probably play 1 or 2 songs. You guys got any questions? Go ahead. Guys, I did see one thing. Uh, just some numbers for you guys before I go. So IBJF currently pays $10,000 for absolute winners and up to $7,000 for weight divisions. Okay, so that was a little bit more than I thought it was for the I mean absolute $10,000. Jesus Christ, God dang, that's pretty terrible. But for the weight division, $7,000, not bad, not super great. Um, but for ADCC pays $10,000 for weight divisions. It looks like that might be more this coming year, 2022 might be a little bit more. And then you know, absolute it was $40,000, but now it's at $150,000, which we had earlier. So I think you guys can see that $150,000. Um, so yeah, some big money, man. Some big money. Again, you gotta fight some killers, man. You gotta fight. I do 88 kilograms, so that's Craig Jones, that's Josh Hinger, that's um, Amadeus Denise. That could be Lucas Barbosa, depending on his weight. That could be Adam Wierzinski. It's like, God dang, I gotta be. It's rough. So things are changing. With the internet, man, you don't have to limit yourself to just competing. There's different things these athletes can do to make a living. Heck, you don't even need to stick with jiu-jitsu. Like, I like doing other content too. So, um, hey, where there's a will, there's a way, man. Philly Cheese says his music's hard. Yeah, I got the hard music, man. And then Timothy Ortel says, you're a white belt in the private lesson tomorrow. What do you tell your coach you'd like to learn? Focus when he asks. I mean, if you ever had that happen, I would just have you guys do like a light roll, and then have him focus on whatever he sees after the roll. Especially if you can't verbalize what you need to work on, or you just can't conceptualize what you need to work on, and he doesn't know what you need to work on. I would just do like a light 5 minute roll, maybe 10-minute roll, and then go point by point on things he thinks you need to work on. That would be the best bet. Whenever I do private lessons, I mean, I've taken some private lessons as a black belt. I try to be very specific. Well, I kind of know the things I have questions for, and maybe I'm trying to look at their approach or maybe see their thought process. So, I mean, it's really up to you. Like whatever you think is going to be the best thing for you. Sometimes you might do a private lesson and you never train. You just work on technique and kind of pick the instructor's brain. But yeah, I mean, I've been trying to frame jiu-jitsu more as a chess, more like a chess person. So like, you have your openings, oh, what are my openings? Oh, you need to do this, and that. Okay, what are my major positions? What are my strategies? How do I close? How do I checkmate? Stuff like that. I think. How do I move? That's part of chess, right? How do the pieces move? How do I move? So yeah, it's just whatever you want it to be, man. That would be kind of cool. I would like to. I've been thinking about doing a different series, like Fix My Guard series, where I take a white belt and I kind of fix their guard. I take their guard and we kind of give them some details to work on, some concepts to work on. I think that would be kind of cool to have filmed. We'll see. Maybe 2022, get some better equipment that I can do that kind of thing. Same here, brother. C3 alpha pin for the win. Alpha pin for the win. Yeah, I kind of would like to do that. I mean, if you're big into chess, you must know that the guy that partnered with Marcelo Garcia was, he's a very great chess player. I think he was finding what was that movie? It was a chess movie. It was based off Finding Bobby Fischer. The chess movie was based off that guy that partnered with Marcelo Garcia. Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool. Also, I saw who was it? Uh, was it one of the Meow brothers was playing chess too? So I can't remember. It wasn't Zhao. It was Paulo. He was playing some chess too. So that'd be kind of cool to kind of take chess and mold it with jiu-jitsu. I think, man, like chess is, chess has a lot of sponsors. How do they get their sponsorships? I mean, jiu-jitsu can't be that boring, right? It's more boring. Jiu-jitsu is more boring than chess. Oh God. Hey, yo, guys, you need to stop stalling out here, man. You got people out here thinking jiu-jitsu is worse than chess, man. Come on, guys. You guys need to step your game up, bro. Yeah, Josh Watkins. Yeah. I don't know what happened to him. I think he still trains or something. Who knows? Yeah. That's it, guys. I'm gonna finish this song, and that's it, guys. If you got any questions, throw them out there real quick, cause about five more seconds. 2 minutes.
Do good, do great, and they talk bad on you. No need, no face, cause they're not factual. I won't stay too long here, I'm just passing through. I might hit the bank and get a bag or two. My mama asked me why you got that cash on you. Second you switch up, they might get mad at you. No, you're not my friend, so no, I'm taxing you. You're all like my sons, I'm going dad on you. Okay, good job. Get mine, no prob. Hit my line, you're irking me. I hit that woosah. No, I don't got perks on me. Spend that money, make it reappear. Ta-da.
Oh, Timothy says, B today is infinitely more exciting than chess, golf, and baseball. Don't at me. Yeah, man. Okay, jiu-jitsu is more exciting than those sports. Okay, jiu-jitsu needs some sponsorships, man. If chess and golf and baseball got sponsorships, so some small things that make jiu-jitsu better. So, people like more details. They want to see submission stats. They want to see guard passing stats. So more stats. Add more stats. That's one thing. Add a ball. Somehow add a ball. I'm thinking some type of rugby type contraption on a field or court and some way to score points. Teams. You need teams. Team sport. And you need teams. Not only do you need teams, but you need like states, city teams. You need like major competitions that draw fans, and then a championship, a Super Bowl of types, Jiu-Jitsu Bowl. So not world champion, we need to rebrand it. Okay, so not world championship. It is the Jiu-Jitsu Bowl, the Grapple Bowl, coming to you live. Dun, 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 dun. Add a little bit of wrestling, pro wrestling swag. We're talking trash. I'm gonna tap out Gordon Ryan tomorrow. Make sure you're there to watch it. I'm joking, Gordon Ryan. Don't beat me up. I can hold Gordon off for about 5 minutes, maybe about 3 minutes. All right, maybe 2 minutes. I can hold Gordon off for about 2 to 3 minutes. I can hold him off for a little bit, guys. R.I.P. Alec. R.I.P. Oh, no. R.I.P. R.I.P. me. Yeah, I think jiu-jitsu is more exciting than chess and golf and baseball. But somehow we just need to rebrand it, for this next generation, so we can get some superstars. I mean, we already got superstars. Just you need to put them out there better, get them some brand deals, have people out there, some talent agents out here trying to help us, All right, guys, I think that's it. I'm saying some crazy stuff now. Time for me to get off the internet now. Too much internet for today. Guys, hope you had a great day. I'm going to play us out with some music and finish us off. Hey, guys. All right, wait. The name of this song is Cash Out. And so that's how I'm going to finish you guys off. Cash out, guys. Cash out. Cash me outside, guys. Cash me later. Let's start from square one.
Okay. Do good, do great, and they talk bad on you. No need, no face, cause they're not factual. I won't stay too long here, I'm just passing through. I might hit the bank and get a bag or two. My mama asked me why you got that cash on you. Second you switch up, they might get mad at you. No, you're not my friend, so no, I'm taxing you. You're all like my sons, I'm going dad on you. Okay, good job, good job. Get mine, no prob. Hit my line, you're irking me. I hit that woosah. No, I don't got perks on me. I sleep good on God. Spend that money, make it reappear. Ta-da! I've been getting paid. I've been eating good. I've been putting on some weight. If I got a problem, I just call my brother babe. This is like a warning shot to get up out my face. This is like a warning shot to get up out my way. This is like a warning shot to get up out my lane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 7. My girl said I'm a dog, but all dogs go to heaven. Thank the Lord when I wake. I've been sleeping like a baby, cause I know my paper's straight. Another day to the grave. I get it cause I got to. I got kids, I need to bang. Thank the Lord when I wake. I've been sleeping like a baby, cause I know my paper's straight. Another day to the grave. I get it cause I got to. I got kids, I need to bang. I've been getting paid. I've been eating good. I've been putting on some weight. If I got a problem, I just call my brother babe. This is like a warning shot to get up out my face. This is like a warning shot to get up out my way. This is like a warning shot to get up out my lane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 7. My girl said I'm a dog, but all dogs go to heaven.
All right, guys, that's it for me. Peace out, peace out, peace out. Till next time. Ciao, 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 guys. Have a good night. Have fun training tomorrow.